the left, which it turns out was wrong on so many aspects of COVID, they just keep doubling down and creating fantasy scenarios where control is justified. So Sam Harris, a person with whom I've been friendly, and I've had him on my show. He's had me on his show. It's been a little while since we talked. Sam Harris did an interview that's gone viral in which he talked about government control. And in order for him to justify government control during the pandemic, he basically had to make the case that if COVID had been capable of killing everybody on Earth, we would have been okay with government force. Well, I mean, maybe, but also that wasn't the case. So I failed to, yes. And if aliens were attacking Earth, then martial law might be necessary. I don't understand what that has to do with the price of tea in China, as they say. Here is Sam Harris.
But dial up the deadliness of the pathogen. Give us something like, airborne Ebola that incubates for a month. You don't know you have it, and you walk around spreading it, and it's got, a 75% fatality rate, and it's mostly killing kids. No one gets to make that choice anymore. I mean, then literally the cops come in and vaccinate you. And I would say that all of us would agree to that. The moment, again, that you turn up the lethality on the pathogen, you turn up the effectiveness of the vaccine, you turn down the risk of the vaccine. Give me a truly safe vaccine where there's not even one documented case of vaccine injury, right? So then you just have to be completely crazy to be worried about being vaccinated in that kind of environment. Then it's just a no-brainer. Then we just don't tolerate a diversity of opinion because the stakes are too high. It's a full-on emergency. Bodies of kids are being stacked up in parks, right? There's so many of them, we don't know what to do with them. We've got these mobile morgues, and we have a vaccine that actually works. And then we've got RFK Jr. saying, maybe you don't want, maybe you don't want to get the jab on Rogan's podcast, right? That's the world I've been worried about ever since COVID.
Well, I mean, so I assume the argument that he's actually making here, to sort of steelman his argument, is that he's worried that vaccine skepticism is going to mean that if we ever do get a virus like this, then the reaction is going to be a lot of skepticism. But number one, that's the fault of the institutions. And to be fair, it's the fault of people like Sam Harris who were promoting a lot of government interventionism along these lines. Many Americans have lost faith in the government, media, and schools. That is the bad news. The good news is there's something you can do to help get the country back on track. PragerU is an educational nonprofit fighting to save the future of the country. They've been watched 5 million times a day. PragerU videos spread messages of liberty, economic freedom, and Judeo-Christian values to the next generation. We work closely with PragerU. They're basically a sister company to our own. I've produced several videos on my own as one of the narrators of a PragerU video. There truly is hope for America, but only if we reach more young people with PragerU. Go to PragerU.com, make a tax-deductible donation. Whatever you give right now will be matched and have twice the impact. If you donate $10, it doubles to $20. That's how doubling works. 70% of viewers say their mind was changed after watching a PragerU video. Please give to PragerU today so your gift can have double the impact in reaching more people and changing more minds. Go to PragerU.com today. Whatever you give, again, will be doubled. Head on over to PragerU.com today. That is the best way to help young people, particularly young people going to university, actually see content that will change their minds away from the indoctrination of their professors. Head over to PragerU.com today and give generously. Right now, you look at the stock market, I got to say, on a personal level, I think that it is overpriced. I do not understand why the markets right now seem to be defying gravity. I could be wrong, but I like diversification. One way that some people diversify is by investing in high-end art, but you can't afford like a high-end piece of art, can you? Well, you could if you invest fractionally in that thing. Just days ago, our longtime sponsor, Masterworks, delivered a 77.3% net return to some of their investors. That is 77.3% net return. Many of my listeners have seen Masterworks' art investing platform hand back 10, 17, 35% net returns from other recent exits. Of course, as with any investment, past performance is not representative of artwork that has not yet been sold. It's not a guarantee of future returns. But, as I said, Masterworks' art investing platform is a multi-year sponsor with over 780,000 users. You can get access to skip the waitlist simply by going to masterworks.com/Ben. Again, that's masterworks.com/Ben. It's a great way to diversify, maybe get away from some types of assets and into a new type of asset. Important disclosures, the risks of investing are available at masterworks.com/CD. Go check them out. Now, the reality is that if you looked at the stats, what you saw is that wherever the virus got incredibly prevalent, people actually voluntarily took the vaccine more during those time periods than when the virus was not prevalent, which is precisely what you would expect. Same thing with masks. People, in other words, take prophylactic measures as they see fit in order to prevent themselves from getting really severe versions of the virus. This is why elderly people took the vaccine at a far higher rate than people who were 20, and that should have been the case, by the way. But, I mean, of course, if we were talking about airborne Ebola killing 75% of people that it touched and mostly killing kids, I mean, I wouldn't hesitate to get a vax at that point, would you? Like, why would anybody? And yes, I mean, a full-blown emergency is different. That is the whole point. The point here is that the government treated this as a full-blown emergency for 3 long years in many places in the United States and across the world, when it wasn't. So I don't understand how the government's failures here are somehow justified by a completely speculative hypothetical scenario. I mean, I can make those up too. It's very easy to make those up. What if the government lied that there was no COVID at all? Wouldn't that justify no government interventionism and suggest that they were actually lying to you? I mean, there are hypotheticals all across the board. It's not hard to do a hypothetical. I'm just confused as to why Sam Harris thinks that justifies what the government did here. Are you tired of the lies and the twists of the mainstream media talking points? Yeah, me too. Join me in my newest series, Fact, where I dismantle and bring truth to this tiring mainstream agenda.